Okay, today I want to talk to you about why I believe that education is the key. Many years ago when I was commuting to and from my job, I would use my commute time, I've said this before, listening to my Walkman, listening to my headphones and studying business and personal development principles using cassette tapes. The Walkman, as you know, it was the forerunner to what is now the smartphone. You know, the iPod in the meantime has become the smartphone. Bottom line is the Walkman was one of those early technologies for allowing mobile listening. And I used to listen to business and personal development tapes, and it fundamentally changed the way I thought and therefore the way I operated. And as I grew as an individual, my capacity to take on more also grew along with me. And many years before that, I remember my dad using cassette tapes to study. He was doing his Leaving Cert. Now that might sound very strange, my dad was doing his Leaving Cert, but my dad actually did his Leaving Cert when he was 37. He, as he says himself, he ran out of school quickly as he could. Age 16, I think, one of the priests or something came in and said, such and such a company is looking for somebody to start work next Monday. And he said, right, I'm the man. And he was gone out the door like a shot. But he always regretted that. He always regretted not finishing his education. So he went back at age 37, hats off to him, and he did his Leaving Cert and did very well. But he was working at the time, family of, there were 5 of us and mouths to feed and all those things. And my dad's job was a sales rep. And he was up and down the highways and byways of Ireland driving his car. And what he used to do was he'd come home in the evening and he'd get out his books and he'd study at the kitchen table and he'd record into a big clunky tape recorder through a microphone, big square thing. And he'd then hop into the car the following morning and he'd put the tape recorder under the front seat. And as he was driving around, he'd simply click the button and listen away to his own recording of his own notes from the lessons he'd studied the night before. And I remember him telling me that when he went into the Leaving Cert exams then later that year, that when he read the question in the exam paper, it was almost as though he could hear the click of the tape recorder and he could hear himself repeat the notes, and he did very well. And so I saw firsthand that education is the key, and I saw firsthand that we had to put some of our spare time into educating ourselves. I applied those same lessons to myself during my journey when I listened to my Walkman, and you today perhaps are listening to this on your smartphone while you're driving the car, and if so, I applaud you for doing so. But education is the key. Your business can never outgrow you. And as part of my business journey, I got involved in network marketing many years ago. And I was fascinated by network marketing. I was fascinated by the potential in it. A lot of you out there would have come across it in your journeys. Truthfully, I never made any money in network marketing, but what it did give me was access to and showed me the importance of an educational training system. And in particular, I was introduced to, in the Amway business model, I was introduced to the tape of the week and the book of the month concept. In other words, I would listen to a cassette tape every week and I'd study it for a week, and then I'd change the tape and study a different topic for another week and change the tape and study another topic for another week. And at the same time, I'd read a book a month. And that's one of the habits that has been most influential in my journey to date. And it's probably fair to say that over the last 25 years, I've probably averaged 10 books a year of a personal development or a business development nature. And as a result of that, I've grown as an individual and I've grown as a business person. And as a result of that, my business has grown to boot. So education is the key. And one of the very best ways that I've come across for you to grow as an individual and as a business person is to read books. And what I recommend you do is that you read a book a month. Now, some of you are thinking out there, Colin, I don't have time to scratch myself, let alone read a book a month. So let me help you with that. When I was writing Feeding Johnny, and by the way, okay, I do recommend that you consider reading Feeding Johnny, but that's entirely your choice. Whether it's Feeding Johnny or some other business or personal development book that catches your attention, whatever you read something. But at the start of Feeding Johnny, I talk about my 10-a-day system. And really what that is that you commit to yourself that you're going to read either for 10 minutes or you're going to read 10 pages every day. For 10 minutes or 10 pages every day. Now, 10 minutes won't kill you. 10 pages might take you a little longer, but certainly 10 minutes or 10 pages every day is very doable. And if you start that habit, I guarantee that you'll finish a book in a month. I guarantee that if you finish the first book, you'll be on a roll and you'll finish a second book. And when you get past your first year of reading a book a month, you'll be a completely different individual heading off on a completely different path. So if you want your business to grow, if you want to grow as an individual and as a business owner, well then I recommend that you read a book for 10 minutes or read 10 pages every day and see where it leads. I guarantee in 5 years' time, if you were to do nothing else but read a book for 10 minutes every day or read 10 pages every day for the next 5 years, I guarantee that your life will be immeasurably bigger, better, brighter. You'll be wealthier, healthier, and happier. And I can honestly say that by me learning to read for 10 minutes a day, reading a book a month, has probably had the most long-term positive impact than anything else I've ever done in my life. Thanks very much indeed for tuning in. Consider what's been shared here today. Have a great week and get some good coffee and enjoy. Take care. Delicious. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.